I have Linda Susie, who of course joins me as usual, my co-host right here. But we have a lot of things that we shall be talking about. The UEFA Champions League that went on last night with a couple of course, teams that in the first round had a better side, and of course the second round couldn't penetrate through. We talked about it yesterday. Today, Champions League continues with Arsenal taking on Bayern Munich and Real Madrid against, of course, Man City. This time round, they go to England or in the city of Manchester, where they will be seeing what to do. So it's Guardiola, Carlo Ancelotti saga, and of course, at the same time, Thomas Tuchel will also be looking forward to see that they really needed to push harder and make sure things work out for them against Mikel Arteta this time round at Allianz Arena. Now, all this will be one of the biggest things that you have to talk about right through. But all in all, also there's that big talking point about rugby training that is coming to Arua, West Nile region. The World Rugby Union, of course, are trying to organize that, and a lot of things that probably you will be seeing. English Premier League, and then of course the Uganda Premier League, where you did see a lot of things that happened yesterday in the games that probably some people would say was not a good one because we talked about the relegation battle. Indeed, they had it in their standard that went in there. So it's welcome. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, viewer. Good afternoon, Owen. We're ready in the house. A lot of stories, of course, are coming up, ranging from locals to nationals, and then, of course, we'll get to close the hour around 3 there by international stories. A lot is going on, nationally or internationally. There is an ongoing UEFA Women Under 18 friendship tournament, and they've played a couple of games where they've never picked a win. They've played so far 3 games. Yesterday, they played China, where China did beat Team Uganda 4-1, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's a very big one. Of course, still off script, we did see a lot that came in from, of course, what the Netball Federation and, of course, the different federations are trying to push. Now, Uganda Basketball Federation or Association is also looking forward to see that they start registration with schools. And now they have announced, of course, the registration commencing for the commencement of registration for the players in that is the schools. I'm talking about primary school or the upcoming primary schools right there. So they will be registering school, of course, those who can play basketball. So you should be also getting ready to see that maybe schools in West Nile should participate in this fully, because it's one big thing that will be going on in the meantime. Of course, the registration drive aims to encourage primary school and teachers, of course, to also participate and enlist their talent in the advanced basketball. So it's one big thing that is going to be there. The facilitation and the preparation is ongoing, and the process of the 2024 season still continues with another interesting challenge that probably you could be thinking about. So those are some of the big things I want to, of course, talk about. But before we get to, of course, all the other things, I want to start with a big talking point of course, World Rugby Union, of course, having one of the training or the ready course training that is coming. And this time around, it's going to be this Friday, 19th, and it will be at Coco Palma. A lot is expected, and journalists are also invited to come in there. So are you going to be part of it? And what does this mean for, that is, the people of West Nile because of Nile leopards? And the Nile leopards.
And the Nile leopards, this is, of course, clearly communicated, and this course is quite a very good one. It will start, I think, on at 8 a.m. at Coco Palma up to around 5 p.m. And it was specifically, of course, generated to see to it that the teachers get support to, in return, support their pupils. Because somehow rugby Arua has been doing in a lot of activities concurrently. There is our president, Mr. Siku Dennis, who has been visiting schools, offering in the balls that is being used for rugby. He consequently almost visited all the schools in Arua. But I saw he visited Arua Hill Primary School, he visited Niva Primary School, even Arua Public Primary School. So most of the schools did benefit from this. But then for the pupils, since they always learn from the teachers, this very rugby training, ready training has been brought down to specifically see to it that these teachers are trained to see to it that they will not only have to teach the pupils in class, but also get to teach the pupils in rugby. And then also, it's not only for it's not only for specifically how to learn to play and all of that. There is also a first aid. There is in case there is a rugby game going on, you can be a first aider, you can be a volunteer, you can be a referee, umping in the games and all that. So basically, this is quite a very good one. But before attending in on Friday the face-to-face program or training, you have to do an online training. Basically, that is for about 30 to 40 minutes, where you are even equally awarded a certificate. You get the online certificate, which propels you to, of course, which propels you to be able to attend the Friday face-to-face training. So basically, I think it's quite a very good one, because such a thing has never happened in Arua. This is the first of its kind. Arua Rugby lobbied for this, and we're quite glad that it came through, because rugby, yes, much as the stakeholders and Siku Dennis have tried to push rugby in West Nile, these days we see it in schools. We've even seen our own here going across and shining at national level and all that. So all these efforts, I should say, are quite very good, and we really, really want to appreciate the efforts of Mr. Siku Dennis to see to it that the people over West Nile get well versed with the rugby and the whole concept.
All right, exactly, that's what takes us right there. But if you look at Mr. Siku, he has invested a lot. He has tried his level best to see that he gets in sponsors and the rest. Now, one of the sponsors that they got the other time, I forgot its name, or something like technology company that came through. I think it's called Soft Technology. You would see that this, how much these people give, is one thing that I would really want to know. Because yes, we saw the team struggle, we saw the team go through a lot of challenges, and now that they're off season, I should say here, what exactly will they do in the coming days right there? But anyway, Nia, have you gotten any information about this, the sponsorship that we went on, or the partnership? Okay, do you think it's yielding out for the rugby club?
I think the sponsorship bit of it is yielding out for whether it's rugby, because they don't only outsource a sponsorship for there is a game days, where the game days, be it local or at national level, they don't only outsource for sponsorship deals for the games. There are also sponsorship deals, by the way, that come through school fees for almost all, most of those that play rugby, because Siku Dennis has been going through outsourcing young talent to see to it that if you can get to nurture this, and then of course it's quite a very good one to nurture a raw talent that is very young and energetic, very ready and willing to learn, so that at the end of the day, you can really get this person and they start shining. A case in point is one girl called Wonyiru, that was, I think, in St. Mary's Idiofe, who had school fees issues and all that. So basically, they went down to the grassroots to outsource a sponsorship for this girl, who did and performed very well. And then there was also one student that was at Arua nursing, comprehensive nursing school, that also did perform well, and all these sponsorship deals came through Siku Dennis. So basically, I think his initiatives and efforts have been yielding both in game days and after other games in people's lives, as they see to it that all the players get to achieve a better future. Because if all this were not yielding in positively, trust me, by now Siku would have given up.
Okay, it's a very big one. We're waiting to see how exactly things can progress in the world of rugby, but Arua, I think, has tried maintaining for all these years. We've seen the rugby clubs that have tried so much, but they have failed to, of course, move through. And now this time around, the Asiku and the team are trying every day and now to see that things work the way they want. So I believe it's going to be one of the biggest things to talk about in future, that maybe one as one of his achievements in the career. But again, because he has taken the team solely, there's no another person who is showing support to towards this. If there were people, maybe because there are no competitions that are frequently organized for someone to understand the rugby in Arua or in West Nile. People only follow this rugby like when the Heathens or when the Nationals were brought here. That's when you would see a few numbers that came through to see. So rugby is not that so much attractive yet in the region. And now the question is, what should we do to make sure that this is one key thing that needs to come and of course be in line with what people love? Because in the entire world you would see that soccer is one of the most loved sports discipline. What about the rest of the disciplines? So why? How about other people loving certain characters or certain disciplines in other countries? What about Uganda? So I believe we need to do a lot to market this. But all in all, again, can we have more schools? Can we have more clubs to come and so that people learn about this? I would also think people who understand rugby should always have, let's say maybe monthly or something of that kind to trainings, so that the ones who even don't know come to talk about it, come to say that there's something called rugby. Just like if you're going to be telling a journalist and the person does not know all the terms of rugby, then it will be very hard for me to come and talk about rugby. And it's going to be very hard for me to talk about it because it is one thing that is there. So I believe they should do a lot as a union to see that if they want to reach up to the grassroots, such training should be organized to media personalities, to sports guys, and people who love, even well-wishers, right there. Those are some of the things, but I know the question will be now, what about the facilitations and the rest, which probably are one of the biggest things right there. Anyway, that is one big talking point that we really want to talk about, but moving away from there, Vipers, a sports club, we did say yesterday that they petitioned the FUFA upon the poor officiation, and today it's a different story that Vipers Sports Club are threatening to boycott or to snub the game that is going to be at, still with the Chitara, at Chitara's home right there in Ahoima, of course, Masindi. So they are feeling this is not what exactly they want. What do you think about this? Because it is so big that Vipers is threatening. What about threatening? What will FUFA lose anyway? What will Chitara lose? What do you think the results will be like in case they don't go for this game?
Vipers threatening to boycott that game. I'm sorry for using some of the words that I am going to use, but who does Vipers think they are? I mean, do they own Ugandan football? Do they have the biggest shares in Ugandan football? What are some of their contributions to Ugandan football? We've seen a lot of people threatening FUFA. The other time we saw Lango province threatening, hey, we shall not go and honor the finals of the FUFA drum. Hey, we are not traveling, we are not what. But FUFA was not shaken. At the end of the day, didn't we see them boarding buses and other vehicles to go to Kampala to honor in that fixture? So I think all this is just trying to instill in some fear. If they don't honor the fixture, it's upon them, and I think they will have to face in the penalties that come through with forfeiting fixtures. I mean, there are a lot of teams, there are a lot of clubs that have suffered bad officiation. The same Vipers that is complaining on Chitara is the same Chitara that also suffered poor officiation. And when Chitara complained, at least it was reviewed and the referee was punished. But Chitara took their loss, and Vipers retained the 3 points that they acquired during that poor officiation, and nothing was done. Just like that, people moved on. So basically, if they don't turn up for the fixture on Thursday, that is their headache. And I think FUFA will definitely have to also penalize them, and the various fines will have to fall in place. Because honestly, they are playing, sometimes you're going to Premier League, there are a lot of teams that are there. Besides, there are also other teams that are in Bet Power, big league, that definitely are fighting to, of course, cross up there. And Vipers, to me, I think they just want to instill in fear in FUFA, but we've seen FUFA being threatened in bigger issues that has never shaken them. So for me, basically, this cannot be an issue, and I think if Vipers do not turn up for this game, Chitara has to be awarded all the points and even goals, and then Vipers has to be penalized.
All right. Of course, what for me I can say is that, you know, you are affiliated to, of course, federation, which is the biggest federation in Uganda, I should say, for the sports. And this, you won't put pressure for answer from Federation of Uganda Football Association just because you need the answer very quick. Because one, such things or such scenarios when they happen, or your petitions, there's a committee that sits and analyzes or sits in for this. And put, of course, a day. Remember, all these people at FUFA House will not only be doing one work. They have different things to do also. But again, still, that does not stop them from doing your review. So they give, of course, a certain day on which they should sit and plan and have this analysis and hearing about your issue. So it becomes so challenging when you are watching what is happening and you think this is going to be one issue that you need to resolve. So for me, I know what is there is always when you're given that chance to write. After writing, you have time to wait for, that is a communication from the Federation of Uganda Football Association. It can even take maybe the whole year and they still come and answer. So just like court, there are people who take 20 years and their judgment comes lately. So those are some of the things that I think Patience has to, that the team of Vipers has to take into notice, that patiently what they have said will be heard in case the evidences are there. Because according to the letter, they sent even footages and what exactly they have according to the letter. So now, if those evidences are there, then you give time for these people to review, because this is a game that was live on TV, and then they also need to take one or two, then come to make conclusion. They need to have the justice and see where wrong it was, which article falls where. I think that's one thing. Because if it is the competition committee that will sit, then there's also because this is straight to the referees, then the referees body has to also sit, which needs also to assess the game. So those are some of the things for me I would say in the country that you should always take serious about. But again, Vipers saying they will boycott, I think that does not move FUFA.
This is too quick, because this game was just played over the weekend. And now the next thing they wrote, it's even hardly a week, that they now want to act and boycott and all that in the next game that is coming. So that space, like you had just said, FUFA has a lot of work to do. It does not only have to sit in there and receive complaints and act upon it immediately. The other time we saw the saga over Jumani and Kataka, how many months did it take to come out? How many months did they take to review and assess and give out a statement and all that? We went up to about 3-4 months before we got in the official statement from FUFA. So Vipers needs to be patient, just like you said. This is just a space of, it is not yet even up to 1 week, and you're here putting in pressure. Patience has to literally really be, to be had in here.
It's all about organization structure. So for me, I would say Vipers has to come, because the statement reads that in one of the local papers that if they don't hear anything from FUFA, then they would not go, because their issue is the security there was not sufficient, and that's one big thing that they are in there. So can just Chitara also give the number of security that Vipers need? Or because it's true, a away team can say this. I don't. Maybe when they have not seen the security, they have not seen ambulances. It is allowed that the game can be stopped for safety purposes. The team can refuse. So can Vipers maybe can Chitara provide? For me, I would say is that this time around Vipers should go and say, okay, we need enough security, because otherwise this, and indeed. Number of security members always there. I believe it's overwhelming at the home of Chitara. So I don't know which type, but that is one big thing I would say, that Vipers needed to reform and just continue with that. It is Uganda here that you have seen very many things happen, and time is still taken. You can't go and judge or do a judgment before investigating. You need to go for investigations, then process by process and you get there. So I think that could not work. Yes, they are right if they said it raises question of insecurity, but they're also wrong to boycott, because truly that means the fixture would be awarded to somebody else. I mean, awarded the points, because if it's not genuine, according to that is the competition, then it will be a very hard thing. So we're waiting to see whether they will not travel, because the game is on 19th, which is a Friday. So we shall be seeing what exactly comes from the side of Sports Club Vipers. I want to say that you can drop your comments on our social handles at Facebook, and at the same time you can also do the same on YouTube, as you will be part of that is the interesting discussion right here. A couple of discussions that we shall be talking about. Now, there's a very big talking point that probably very many would always love to hear about when things come a wrong way or when they come right way. That is about the relegation and how teams are going to be relegated. Gaddafi yesterday and of course the team of UPDF couldn't score each other, and that means in fact they scored 1-1. They couldn't go past each other. The two, I should say, their level or their weight was the same, and indeed UPDF was held at military barracks in Bombo, where they couldn't win home. Now, are you seeing the two brothers or sisters going together into the relegation?
This is the one thing that I can clearly remember saying yesterday. I was anticipating a draw in here, because one, weighing the both teams, if you put them on a weighing scale, of course, if you put anything on a weighing scale, the other has to be up and the other has to be down. But for the case of the two football army sisters or brothers, for yesterday's case, if you did try weighing them, they would all be there at the same level. No one would go up and the other would come down and all that. So basically the draw is quite a very good one for them for the fact that they all sit down there. But then they both needed the 3 points badly, by the way. And I think this time around they are going to drag each other to the red zone, because literally they sit in there. No one allowed the other to go with all the 3 points. They shared in the spoils. So basically I think they are both good teams and they are both bad teams currently. They move in concurrently, and that will quite, by the way, affect them if they continue that way. Trust me, we are going to be seeing the both army teams are being pushed down to a lower league, not now the biggest style of football.
All right, yeah, exactly. In Italy, UPDF was, if they were to win this game, it would make them go off, that is the relegation zone, probably to make sure that things go right way in there, because Busoga and of course Maroons are yet to play, and Busoga is already in the danger zone to see that things go their way. But at the same time, if you look at what is called the style of play of the two teams look to be a little bit similar. I don't know the rumors that leaked Mbabazi to Gaddafi, whether he will go, because the team is again going for relegation. What would it mean for him? So those are some of the things in there. But at the same time, you also do have URA proving a point yesterday. A key player to talk about is Ahis Simbwe, who of course has been one key character that David Obo has not been liking into the play, saying that he's maybe not his type. But this time round, yesterday, he proved a lot. He proved really a lot of things of not allowing himself like that. He scored also for URA 2-0. They were winners over NEC Football Club. Anytime, I don't know if this season ends successfully for the Mbalangus and the technical team, or next season, don't get surprised if the NEC Football Club says they want to get new coaches to come and take on the team. That's one thing I'm saying, but they lost.
NEC is very slippery.
In fact, number 5 lost to number 8.
Very surprisingly. NEC, I should say, is becoming very slippery. Just like which team in EPL? Tottenham Hotspurs. I mean, NEC is one side that will deceive you. One time they are going against a tough team, where you're going to be expecting that they will be beaten, or maybe they are going to lose badly to the opponents, they are beating the other tough side. And then another time you're seeing them play an average team where you expect them to, of course, go past in a very smooth way, they are being beaten. This is NEC that just recently went past Police. That is the best, actually, that sits on top of the table in a Bet Power Big League. They had to beat them in Uganda Cup 2-0. And then this is NEC that again comes in to the league that it plays, and that has been doing so well. At some point, we even saw them sitting up there 2, then they came to 3, and slowly by slowly, if they continue like this, trust me, they are sinking every day with the kind of results that they are bringing up front. So basically, it was quite a very good one for URA, and I think they did prove the world wrong about David Obua. So that win was quite a very good one for for URA, and it did help them also close up on some of the doubts that a lot of people had out here on them, of course, parting in ways with their coach, there is David Obua. So basically, it was quite a very good one for URA, but also a bad one for the technical bench that sits at NEC.
Yeah, it's a very big one. If you look at this very team, by the way, the man I'm talking about is Ivan Ahindisiwe, who of course scored a brace in this game, trying to prove, I know that's to me, because the celebrations showed what exactly it is, trying to prove David Obua, because numerous of times that this man has not been a starter into the team of David Obua. So it means a lot probably to see that the team needed to put something higher right there. So his first came, of course, if you remember, in the 7th minute, as of course squeezed in, that is the Hadley stack that he put at the back of the net for the tax collectors. Later on, he doubled his lead, and he is one key name to talk about right now. He is Mbibwe, who has been one of the key names for the team. But what next is... what is their next fixture? Can they keep the consistency now that the coach is not there? Because everybody believed the problem was David Obua. Now Obua is not there. Yes, they have gotten their first win. Can we also see them in the second win again? I see that they push it there. That's one thing that now we are waiting for. But today, I want to tell you that today there are going to be games in the Uganda Premier League, where of course Maroons will be taking on Busoga. That is Maroons' home ground in Luzira. Then KCCA will be, not today, but tomorrow, yes, 18th is tomorrow. KCCA will also be welcoming Mbarara City. Then on 19th, Chitara will be welcoming Viper Sports Club. Those are the games that will be there in the Uganda Premier League come tomorrow, and of course Friday. That will be interesting. Now, this takes us for a break. When we come back, we shall be discussing one of the or two things locally or nationally, and then before we cross over to the international stories, which is the Champions League and some of the transfer speculations that is happening right away. But all in all, biggest talking point you shouldn't turn away from is what do you think about the construction of Nambole? And the biggest talking point is CAF has also come up, Ingenia Moses Magogo in Parliament yesterday came out saying CAF report indicates that Nachivubo Stadium is not to the standard of hosting international games. And that's why Uganda will not use it to host any international game. Bad news for that is Uganda. What do you think about that? Where is all this going? Because we shall be coming to talk about this. So you keep dropping your messages or you keep dropping your comments right on our Facebook comment section, and of course the YouTube comment section. Keep subscribing too, so that you'll be part of that is the notification that keep always getting to you. When you subscribe, click the bell that takes you straight to get all the feeds that come from West Nile Television. Now let's take a break. We'll be right back.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break. Still West Nile Television with Owen Izaga and of course Linda Susie. We're saying the whistle time continues, of course, in the second half of that is the show. But with another interesting one coming in from the report that was unleashed yesterday in Parliament after, of course, Ingnia Moses Magogo, the FUFA president, saying that it is one thing that he has always been waiting for. And he has said it because, one, Namboole is delaying. Two, Nachivubo has been, of course, blocked from hosting any other international game. So, remember, Nachivubo is being built by, that is one of the tycoons in Uganda or in Kampala, by the names of Ham. Of course, he has done a lot to make sure that the construction went on well, successfully. But there's a challenge that this did not meet the standards of CAF. Now, which has costed Uganda again, because Uganda needs to look into how to improve again this stadium to make sure that it's an international stadium that can host games. With this, very many were disappointed because Namboole, I remember, minister was given 2 weeks to report back to Parliament to come and say, give an overview of how far, because he said at first it was the money issue. Now that money, 170 billion that was left has been given to them. What it was 79, which was left billion now given. They should have construct, because this has been given into the hands of the UPDF engineers. And the Uganda People's Defense Force engineers said they don't audit when the work is still ongoing. They audit or inspect after the work is done. So I think there's that scenario. But again, FUFA President Magogo said that he feels every time they want to do constructions in Uganda, the government should first consult Federation of Uganda Football Association, because these are the people who deal in the football. These are the people who move out of this country for purposes of football. Was he correct? Do you think he's right?
About the issue of Namboli, really, consequently, there are a lot of issues that, of course, are coming up. And some of these issues that are coming up are not quite pleasing because all the problems that were raised to see to it, some of the problems that were mentioned as the hindrances to the completion of this whole thing, it was seen that most of the problems were being solved, specifically the financial constraints and all that, these were solved. But now, somehow in between, there is some little disappointment that Ugandans have. I can say that because where or how some of these monies have been used is quite very amazing, and it's weird to actually bring in such accountability that some amount of this money was given to relocate someone that did this and that was the owner. So I think it's quite a very bad example. And like I just said, I've never believed in us Ugandans that we were really ready to host in this 2027 AFCON. Much as it was a Pamoja bid, but we did see Uganda pushing more than the two countries that conjoined with Uganda to see to it that they host this. There is Tanzania and Kenya. Uganda did push most, but then if you come to them, and some of the stadiums that they have that can literally host these games, you literally get to see that there is actually none. Because most of the places that have been talked about that are supposed to be either built or renovated are still yielding nothing. So basically, it's quite a very huge blow and shameful to us as Ugandans.
Now that Nachivubo has been rejected, Uganda still has projects to do. If Namboli is taking all that while, what about the Akiba Stadium they want to build? What about the Bidiba, the Chidiva project that is going up to now that you're not talking about? What about the one that they wanted to build in Hoima? I think it's Luero or Hoima, something of that kind, but you're seeing that it is taking miles. Now, I believe it's also what Moses Hingidia Honorable said was correct, because these are people who are directly involved with the football. They should know the standards needed by, that is CAF, because they're under CAF. These are people who are under FIFA, they're under CAF, they're under, that is, yes, CAF in Africa. So I would say this is one thing, because just like how you saw Obua and not Obua, but the recent guy Eto saying we are not accepting that coach because it's not under us or our federation. It is the minister who went for this. So it's just like Minister Hamson going to say this. I mean, Minister Ogwal saying this is what we need, and you're good to go. So it has challenges, and you will always have those uncertainties. I believe, to me, I would go and support, that is, this time around, the federation president of the statement he made. In case of any project, do consultation with the right people, the technocrats. You shouldn't just be, because I'm an engineer and this is, you know. Now, what next for, that is Nachivubo. Obviously, you need to do more rearrangement, you need to reassemble, you maybe have to renovate it to add another better position that needs to work out. So it's so challenging, but all in all, I believe the teams are doing everything possible to see that this gets there. Let's move away from that story and get to the Uganda, of course, internationally, UEFA Champions League, where Barcelona and, of course, Atletico Madrid were all, of course, given hard time yesterday by, that is, their competitors, including PSG, coming from goal down to, of course, make sure that they progress now to the next level. Remember, Barcelona scored first through Rafinha, and, of course, PSG had to overturn it 4 after Barcelona had also gotten a red card in the early games. Ronald Araujo got in the 29th minute a red card, which of course gave more power to PSG, with Kylian Mbappe still keeping his record against Barcelona. Bad one for Xabi, because he says it was poor officiation. he really said it was very, very poor officiation and he's not happy for the game.
That is something for me that I actually anticipated. I am about the Barcelona game. I literally said something yesterday that PSG has always given a run to there is a team Barcelona, and then at the other side, where we saw the game of Real Madrid. Basically, those results that came through yesterday, to me, they are something that I had expected, only that the goal margin went in quite wide. I expected that the sides that won could literally win in with a very slim margin of goals, but then a lot of goals were registered, and I think it's quite a very good one, only that we await the ones of today night, where, of course, the Champions League returns with more interesting fixtures tonight.
Yeah, of course, you did see Kylian Mbappe, you did see, of course, Dembele, who was from Barcelona, I remember, and then, of course, Bacola, who were all outstanding for the team. He made an assist, Mbappe scoring twice, Dembele scoring, and at the same time, you did see Vitinha also getting onto the score sheet for that is the team of PSG, very outstanding, but PSG has always lied to me. They can even reach up to finals and don't win the trophy. They're like Arsenal Football Club of nowadays, because of you give false hopes to people to of course get the hope, but at last you don't win something. That's one big thing. If I'm not lying, apart from the Community Shield, which trophy of course you wouldn't. So that's one big thing. But all in all, I think Barcelona had a poor game approach. The likes of Koundé, the likes of course, Cabarres, Cancelo were all at par, at below par. Of course, after getting even red card by Araujo, now you'd see, because you have a Kylian Mbappe who is so pacey, you'll always have to be so defensive-minded right there. Mendes and Hakimi were all outstanding in that defense, left and right, both sides. So the wings were all doing well. I think that's one big thing that to me affected Barcelona. They did go by the planned way, because they thought they had already won at Paris. Now here they would be closing the chapter, but Paris team, PSG, of course, prepared very well, went and studied the books and came back in for that. At the same time, Borussia Dortmund could not allow any inch of loss. They won it home and away after, of course, going 5-4 on aggregate. It was a very good one, of course, 2-3 on that is the first day. But this time round at that is Signal Iduna Park, you did see them, of course, have a very good performance with, of course, Bandit again still scoring, Masten scoring, of course, of course, the man by the name of Falkrak, and Sabisa, who also scored still for the team, as Hummels scored an own goal for that is the team. Then Korea also scoring in right there. They were beaten, of course, by 4-2 still. That is Team Atletico. Diego Simeone, very bad one for him. I don't know when he's going to win Champions League.
Maybe the time will literally come, but the teams that actually did have a bad run, we literally saw them picking in the defeats last night, and that, of course, is pushing us through to, I want us to look at briefly some of the fixtures in Champions League that returns tonight, before, of course, we run away from here, because the time is literally up against us. Bayern will, of course, be playing that as Arsenal. Will be seeing Arsenal return to have a return leg at Bayern. Literally, in the first leg, we saw them picking in a draw. So this time around, for Arsenal to, of course, push through to there is the next, they need a win at the home of Bayern, which literally I see is going to be a very tough one for them.
Yeah, if you see that game, it's of course a tough game, just like you said, because of two things. Yes, Bayern Munich outplayed Arsenal in the recent game when they went to Arsenal's home, and you saw what exactly happened. Bayern themselves have progressed from that is 2 of the 3 European knockout ties in this league, which of course they have recorded at least a 2-2 draw with Arsenal for in the first leg. That was a very big one. Then of course against Aberdeen in 2007/8, they also had a UEFA Cup third round that they played. But all in all, Bayern are level alongside Barcelona, both 4 of them as they have tried their level best to see that they really always go past or against any other team that has progressed up to this level. Now, against Arsenal and Real Madrid, they have been a very good side, but they have been eliminated in, that is, the Champions League quarterfinals each of, that is, the past 3 seasons away. Goal rules over. One of them was against PSG that they had with a away goal rule, and then that was in 2020-2021, and that is Hansi Flick. Then Nagelsmann time, they had 4-1 on aggregates versus, that is, Man City under Thomas Tuchel also. So it's a tough game. That means they have always been consistent up to finals. But Arsenal are winless, remember, in 8 Champions League away matches in the history, you can know. And this is Arteta's second European quarter-final as a manager, after Arsenal's, of course, 5-1 aggregate win versus, and that is Slavia Praha. And Arsenal have also progressed from, that is, just 2 of their Champions League quarterfinals, 2-0 on aggregate. So we are waiting to see a tough one. Arsenal, after having all those challenges in the Premier League game, they are already in that mind, because they didn't expect that. And now focus again, we'll have to turn a bit to the Champions League, but this is a game that I have not to miss. 2 players were out, Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka, who limped off from, that is, the game against Aston Villa. But yesterday reports said that they are back in training, but they will be assessing late fitness to see whether they will be able to play or whether they will be sidelined. So they doubt, but they were training with the team. The only person you could say for Arsenal who is out is Urian Timber, who is not going to be in the team because he is out injured. So it's a tough game that you should be thinking of. But at the same time also, a big encounter between Real Madrid and Man City. And today, Man City being home, I'm seeing, by the way, Man City for me beating Real Madrid because of the style of play that they had at, that is, Real Madrid's Bernabeu. You looked at the approach of the game. Madrid had everything possible to see that they get into the play, but City have also gotten the zeal and the energy after, of course, now topping the table again, knowing that this is going to be another chance maybe to win a treble still, because they are still in the FA Cup. They're still there. They're also still there in the Premier League, and at the same time in the Champions League. Could he do it consecutively twice? Because that is where you need to see. So City, they will be looking into that, and probably they will be facing Real Madrid in second leg. They had a tight contest in their game, but for today, we shall be expecting a lot. City will be boosted by the return of, that is, Kieran Walker, who has been out for quite a long time, and he has been sidelined since sustaining, of course, an injury. It was an hamstring injury on, that is, England duty. Now he is back into the team. So, yeah, we will be expecting a tight competition right there before maybe we look into some of the things that will be coming. But I believe, to me, I'm seeing City being the champions, or I mean being the winners of tonight's game. And that is one thing. One thing that they're home, and then also they have the advantage. They have understood Real Madrid very well.
We literally saw Carlo Ancelotti's side being tied to a 3-3 at their home at Bernabeu the last time they played. So this time around they come home to, there is a City side, and I literally would, of course, agree to what you have said. City, I am seeing a City winning in this game because they've also they've studied Carlo Ancelotti's tactics and style of play so well, and they understand it.
Kel Jawi says that one of the standard stadiums also below standard for, that is, CAF. Ugandans' corruption will never end. Better South Sudan with her small family. And then Pama says, thanks, bro. Okay. Yeah, those are some of the comments I'm seeing here, and then someone is streaming us live from, that is, on Zivo Streets. Okay, thank you so much for that. I want us to wind up with any of the stories that maybe you should be having right there. Jordan Sancho says he wants to return to Manchester United next season if there's a new coach.
Games return, of course, a fourth league. Tomorrow we'll be seeing Airfield playing Tanganyika down at Giaco. And then in regional league, Lear also has a game against Nebi Central this Saturday at Panduru.
Okay, on our YouTube channels, we have, that is Ngamamba Innocent saying Vipers is right to do that because officiation of Uganda football is very poor. That's why I'm saying they should just proceed, because very many people have written for such things, and unless those evidences will work, and you haven't. And then Innocent still continues, how can they do that without the supervision or any advice from the chairman and the chairperson? Sometimes they stay, leave what belongs to the generals to the generals. Okay, they say. Okay, I know you wanted to say they said. Yes, that's why the generals are the one building anyway. Hi, good afternoon. May I know on Dobarak FC about time? Okay, table standing. Then Zeus Central versus Pi, the Black Angels today. Can I get the transfer updates for the team Chelsea? All that will be coming all tomorrow's show. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being part of the show. It's been the Whistle Time, a team, of course.